Well, hello, my friends. We're here in another episode, and today I have my friend, good friend, jazz piano player. Also, he's a educator, and the theme of the show is gospel, blues, jazz, and we're going to be also talking about R&B and a little bit of go-go. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my good friend, Mr. Jon Ozmet. How you doing, my man? Talk to me.
I'm doing well, Manny. Thanks for inviting me. I'm looking forward to talking to you, and I always enjoy hanging with you and playing. Of course, I've been really lucky to have the chance to play with you quite a bit the last couple years. So, thanks.
Man, it's been my pleasure. What I
Mhm.
want to get into with you is your history with uh, jazz, and I know you were with the Blackbyrds for a while. So I'm going to start, and I want to just ask you where are you from? What brought you to DC? Are you originally from DC?
Well, no, I'm not from DC. My family, I grew up in a couple different places. We moved around a bit. My father had a job, so we moved around 3 or 4 times. But when I was in high school, we landed in Northern Virginia, uh, out near Leesburg, so west of DC. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I was going to high school. But really, from that age onward, I was really interested in the city and kind of getting more into city life in general. We'd been living in small towns and stuff. But then also in high school, I started to get much more interested in music and studying music, playing music, and whatnot. So that's what ended up bringing me to DC. We were, like I said, living fairly close to Washington. I liked the city. I felt comfortable, so I ended up going to college here. Came here to do my undergraduate work at University of Maryland, which is,
Okay.
of course, just in the suburbs, and ended up getting a degree there. But shortly after that, though, I ended up moving into DC, and that's I've been here since, really, ever since finishing college. Yeah.
Very good, man. Well, who were some of your influences coming along?
Well, coming up, like I said, I started taking piano, in grade school. Didn't really hit me though until high school. That's when I really kind of caught the bug, as it were, where I got really interested and even started to think about becoming, a professional musician.
Yeah.
At that, we had a lot of different kind of music at home. My parents liked music. I wouldn't say anything strongly in particular, so which was kind of nice. We had a variety. My father had some jazz. He liked some kind of almost church kind of music. We had classical. We had Broadway music. Then I had an older brother, so of course he and I were listening to all the pop and rock and everything that was coming up in the 60s and then into the 70s. So that's where my influences began. In high school, as I said, I started to really get interested in playing music more seriously, and started hanging out with friends, jamming a little bit here and there on songs. And the kind of stuff that we were jamming on then was more kind of almost what you'd call jam band rock now, but like Santana
Okay. Yeah.
songs, blues songs, and there were a fair number of instrumental tunes. But we had little bands, and that's the kind of stuff we were doing. Eric Clapton, just whatever was that we could learn and try to jam on. But during that process, I was starting to also discover jazz. I was kind of becoming interested in improvising because, of course, Santana, Allman Brothers, those bands had a
Yeah.
lot of hits
Yeah.
and a lot of blues tunes as well that involved that. And just started to get the idea, though, that really maybe jazz was where I wanted to go if I wanted to continue really working with improv and improvising. So I started listening to more of that stuff. Wasn't really much jazz, happening at my high school or anything like that. There were kids. We were listening to a lot of different kinds of music, but
Right. Right.
nevertheless, I got interested and started trying to go see a few little jazz things whenever I could, and then get records, of course. So some of the records I got that really fired me up in that period, where I was checking out really the great pianists that were alive and current, as it were, in that period. So in the '70s, when I started to get into jazz, it was all about Chick Corea,
Yeah,
McCoy
yeah,
Tyner, Keith Jarrett, Bill Evans. Those are probably the ones that, if any, well, they all hit me in different ways, I would say. Uh, Chick, of course, was getting into a lot of electric stuff then, so I could relate to that, having heard a lot of the rock music and a lot of electric blues and jazz, and blues rock and stuff. So I could relate to that, and that excited me a lot. I could probably point to McCoy Tyner though, just as
okay,
at the time I heard him and then got to see him, and it just I think he was one of the first ones that really blew my mind because he was playing all acoustic jazz, but he had that energy
yeah, yeah. Well,
of
see,
any
you
other.
have that energy too, man.
Well, that's always thank you. That's always been something that I've admired and strive for.
Yeah,
Is trying to bring the energy, bring some fire, as they say, as we say, talking about it, and that just always was something that really grabbed me. So the players I liked tended to be the ones that were bringing that. So Keith Jarrett could bring that in his way,
yes,
but especially again, like I said, McCoy Tyner was a particular one, just playing again. From what I could hear then, still coming out of a traditional jazz sound, acoustic bass, saxophone, and playing acoustic piano, but just with all the high energy of any, Jimi Hendrix or any rock band that you would hear. To me,
yeah, yeah,
so that
yeah.
that really grabbed me.
Well, tell me, who are some of the artists that you have worked with, man?
Wow. Well, I've had the honor and distinct pleasure. Let's see, going back. Well, you mentioned the Blackbyrds.
Yes, I did.
Uh, just to clarify, so this was the Blackbyrds after Donald Byrd,
Okay.
the '80s, but they were touring again, doing a lot of original music. It was still the core band, just Donald Byrd had left, and they were still playing a lot of that music and a lot of that style, of course. But anyway, so I had the honor of playing with some of those guys. Keith Kellough is a great drummer, and he's still the band leader. He's kind of taken over that band.
I met
As
him.
well, he's a great drummer. Also, I played with him in other contexts since then, but he was one of the players I was introduced to in that experience. From there, though, I had my entree, you might say, into the R&B world of DC and jazz. Well, both really. uh, but so I also then worked with Chuck Brown after that.
Oh, okay.
So I had a couple years of playing with Chuck's group. I was a soul. I was searching my soul as a soul searcher. um, uh, After that, let's see. I guess this is talking about the '80s. I was kind of bouncing around playing with different, local jazz groups, and then also still playing a lot of R&B. So I played with. I started getting introduced to people like Davey Yarborough. I've worked with him a lot. He was another one that was kind of doing some R&B stuff, but really a lot of straight ahead jazz back then. And still, he's also still very active. I still get to play with him.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, another one that encouraged me in the education world. We can come back to that. Davey Yarborough and his wife Esther Williams is a great vocalist, so I've gotten to work with them a lot. Uh, I guess let's see as we go on in through that period. I connected with a few other different singers in that period. Marianne Redmond was kind of an
Hmm.
R&B singer. I worked a lot with her, recorded with her during that period on into the '90s. Well, a couple other jazz players that are still very active in the area. Marshall Keys, uh, that connects us back to Tacoma Station, which you mentioned. He had a long running steady gig at Tacoma Station, so that was
Okay.
a big center of jazz activity back in that period. So I met a lot of great players then and worked with him a lot, recorded with him. Uh, let's see. Through there, I also worked with another saxophonist in the area who's still active, Al Williams. Not quite as well known, but he's very active in the area. Uh, he's a. We also did a lot of recording. He also kind of crossed over between kind of funky and smooth jazz and straight
Yeah.
ahead jazz.
Yeah.
That was kind of a more of a thing in the '80s than is now. I mean, smooth, what now would call smooth. I don't really like that term, but
I don't either.
I think people can at least identify that. No, actually, just on that note, someone else described that. They say, well, it's basically instrumental R&B.
Okay.
So I think
That's
we think of it
basically
that
all it is. Yeah.
exactly. So that connects us both to jazz and R&B, which I've been referring to. At any rate, Al, I worked with him for a number of years, recording uh, concerts and stuff, and like I said, kind of playing both. Like I said, so that was common in that period. A lot of groups were doing that kind of electric, but also playing straight ahead, playing some instrumental R&B.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe David Sanborn tunes, Weather Report, Chick Corea stuff. So a lot of the stuff that was really current in the time, as well as straight ahead though, bebop tunes. I remember Al. We had an arrangement of a Chelsea Bridge that we did. So we were, we were able to mix it up
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
a fair degree, and Marshall Keys as well. So
Well, tell me
I
something.
sure.
With all of that, and this is probably going to be a really stupid question, but I want to know how many years have you been playing?
Well, just where we left off, I was in the thick of the '80s. So I came out of school around 1980.
Okay.
I was already, I'd already been doing some professional stuff while I was in school, but really, so what's that? 45 years.
Good gracious. Congratulations, man.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
It sounds like you've been playing longer than that.
Thank you. I'm knocking on wood. It's been quite a ride, but I'm grateful.
I got another question, man, for you. In your years in playing and traveling, what are some of the funniest things that you've come in contact with that you can tell us about?
Oh boy, let me think. The funniest. Uh, wow, I got to think about that.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
if you can think about it, if you come back to it, just say, "Oh, I just thought about something." Don't worry about it. You know, I think that's your career is just fantastic, man. And I've had the pleasure of working on the same stage with you, and I just love the energy that you bring. And not only are you to me a great player, you have a fantastic personality, man. And to me, that just makes it overwhelmingly fantastic. And you're just a great person to know. And I've had the honor of being and sharing a stage with. And I look forward to every time I hear Jon Ozmet's on the stage, I start grinning. I look forward to it. And anytime I get a chance to bring you where I am, that's what I do, man. I just love it. And I thank you for being available too.
well, I thank you, and that's very, very. I'm grateful to you, but that's very nice of you to say that. One thing I've just on that note, I've tried to share with students and just people talking about music is it's one of the it's one of the few areas of endeavor, you might say, that our work can be described as play.
Okay.
They say you don't even want to say I'm working at music. You say I'm playing
That's
music.
me. That's what I said. I'm playing tonight.
It is work, and we know that. I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
diminish that. We, of course, we know because we were in it, but I think I've just tried to appreciate that too. That I get to do something that I enjoy, and I can even have fun. Again, I'll try to think of something funny to share, but that's like it's a kind of play. We interact with each other, we share sounds and phrases and all kinds of stuff while we're
Sure.
playing. It's uh, it's just a great experience. That there's really nothing much like it.
L-
Not many two things compare.
Let's. I want to go back for a second and talk about your years uh, with the Blackbyrds. Let's talk about that a little bit. And what was it? What was it like uh, being in that band? Should I say that organization, that band?
Well, it was very exciting when I came in. I didn't really know those guys that well. In the entire band, I had to, I really took it seriously. I had to learn a lot of music. I did a lot of practicing and
Yeah, yeah,
shedding stuff. I mean, one thing that really was an inspiring experience looking back was that at that time, a lot of the new stuff, the current music they were doing then, had been produced by George Duke.
Oh, okay.
So I had to study those recordings, and I had to try to, learn to play solos, kind of like what George Duke was doing, because that was the sound they were going for. So, I considered that an exciting challenge. I'm not sure how well I met it, but anyway, I got a lot of support uh, from the other band members. So the other two core members at that time, and still are the bassist Joe Hall and guitar player Orville Saunders. And I just learned a lot from those guys.
Yeah, yeah,
I mentioned Keith Kilgo earlier. Keith, uh, all of them had really studied jazz, played a lot of jazz, but were also playing this kind of hybrid, funky
yeah.
electric. Uh, wasn't exactly fusion. Like I said, it was more like electric R&B music. And so we rehearsed quite a bit. They were putting the band together basically to go on a tour to support a new record they were releasing at the time. So, like I said, it was a lot of practicing, a lot of intense learning of tunes, and uh, uh, it was very. I would say it was a very professional step up for me at
Yeah,
the
very
time.
good.
I hadn't really toured with anyone, and had that kind of uh, pressure, as it were, but demand to do that kind of work. So it really made me feel like I needed to step up my game, in terms of listening to the style, really, really playing with, really, they were very experienced. I mean, they'd been doing that for all through the 70s.
Well, how,
So
how, how old were you when you became one of the Blackbirds? How old were you?
gosh, I was just out of school, so I guess I was about 24, 25,
Okay.
around 24. Yeah. So, yeah, trying to see if I'm actually doing the math correctly. Yes. The early 20s, like I said, I've been doing some professional work, a fair amount since I've been out of school and stuff, but this was definitely taking it up a notch, like I said. So we rehearsed quite a bit under their direction. I mean, there was a full horn section, a singer, percussionist. A couple of the horn players are guys I still know. Howard Burns, he was a saxophonist. I still work with him a lot. He's in the area. Um, it was an all star. I mean, a good band, in my opinion.
Right.
I was probably the new young guy on the totem on the list. But Howard, a couple of the other people were also kind of fresh out of college, new cats on the scene, and so anyway, we did the tour. We went out. We played dates, all over the U.S. Clubs, mostly kind of medium-sized halls, I would say, and then
Yeah.
big jazz clubs, the Roxy in L.A.
Ah,
Uh,
Roxy.
Yeah, you played
Yes.
the American Music. What's it called? American Music Hall in San
San
Francisco.
Francisco. Yes. I
Well,
played there too.
yeah, it's a big old theater. Some nice gigs, some smaller gigs, but a mix. Uh, what was the experience? It was really exciting playing a lot of those concerts, and that was kind of a I was kind of living a dream that I had had though too. Was like to be in a band that was out doing concerts, and
Yeah. Yeah.
playing a group that was like a real, not a cover band or just a nightclub band. It was like really doing a show, and so that really, like I said, I really learned a lot, and I really took it seriously. I wanted to succeed, and so I worked hard at it. At the time too, a lot of my job was also at the time. I mean, in the '80s, was dealing with the keyboards. I was interested in synthesizers and electric keyboards, so that also helped me get the gig. I mean,
Okay.
because not everybody that dug jazz was into electric music,
Right.
so
Right.
I kind of appreciated and was interested in both. So uh, it allowed me again to really, work with that a lot more than I had the opportunity before to become a keyboard player as well as
Okay.
a pianist, which was also again a goal I had. That was part of well, that was a goal that I had. I mean, I was always serious about piano, but I liked other sounds too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
so that gave me an opportunity to get into that a lot more as well too, playing with that with the Blackbyrds. Um, so we did the tour. We came back. They went back in the studio to do some recording. Uh, we then kind of did more local shows around here, playing at some of the clubs in this area. Um, Unfortunately, after about 2 years, I would say, it just kind of waned. I don't know how to explain it. The album, I guess, didn't sell as well as they'd hoped. So
Okay. Okay.
unfortunately, they made the shot, and it just didn't really. It kind of plateaued, I guess, and so I ended up looking for other work. But
Sure. Sure.
for me, then again, I'm really grateful that I did meet a lot of people and had the opportunity to play with some really good, professionals above, that I could aspire to, and then that helped me get more connected with the scene when I came back here. So, for example, that connected me with Chuck Brown
Okay.
because I now was part of the DC R&B scene as well
R&B.
as the jazz. So I did a lot of music like that for another couple years after that. So same with Chuck, I did some recording. We didn't really go on tour, but we did a lot of concerts. Go Go was hard to imagine. It was kind of just taking off then. It was it wasn't really the settled genre that it is now. It was sort of like just getting going.
Right. Right. I'm going
So
to
it was
be interviewing some of those guys from
okay.
originals from the Chuck Brown brand. You probably know. You know Donald Tillery.
I do. He was in the band when
I got
yeah.
him coming up soon on the show.
Okay.
And I'll definitely, matter of fact, what I may try to do is have both of you guys on at one point so that you can interact together with the three
All right.
of us anyway.
He would
And that
write in.
man, let me jump off here for a minute. We spoke maybe a day or so ago when I was talking to you about doing this, and you were telling me that you were doing some teaching. Let's talk about your that you're an educator. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes. Well, I'm continuing to teach. I shouldn't put it that way. I've kind of cut back some just because I'm getting older and moving on to different activities. But I'm teaching at a couple schools now. I teach piano students at American University and George Washington University. I taught at University of Maryland for almost 20 years. and got a master's degree there in jazz. So somewhere along the line, probably over maybe 25 years or so ago, I just started getting more interested in teaching.
Okay.
My wife is a teacher, and was at that time, so I kind of began to appreciate more what teaching was about, and a lot of my friends had gotten into teaching at that point. Music colleagues, were also beginning to get involved more in teaching at the college level, high school level. So it just kind of started to pique my interest, you might say. Uh, Along the way, I started also playing with some of these kind of little like master class and high school summer programs and stuff. So I was kind
Okay.
of getting involved in teaching, kind of from the side, you might say. But it interested me, and I got really excited about it. So I went back. I got my master's in jazz studies, and then was able to get some more teaching jobs. I mean, I was teaching privately at the time too, just private students at my home. But I've really enjoyed that. It's very rewarding. Again, I've tried to take. I think I take it seriously. So it's an opportunity for me to think a lot more about the music and how to express it, if you will, to other people who may. Well, everybody's different. So you kind
Yeah.
of. I feel like I have to find a way to connect with people and then find a way in with the music. You know, now of course many or some students come and are already set on what they want to do.
Right.
That in a
Right.
way
Right.
makes it a little bit easier sometimes, but others not so much. So you kind of have to. I feel like I kind of have to, just find a way to pull things in that will be interesting, that interest me. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. So
interest
everybody
me.
stays interested.
Yeah, that I'm not going to bother with it if it does interest me. But
I hear you.
so it's a challenge, but I think I think it's good. Keeps me fresh. Kind of
Sure.
listening, and then too, the students sometimes bring things to me, like something they listen to or they have questions. Just right now, I've got a student at AU, and young man, he's good, interested player, smart, and he's starting to play with a trio.
Okay.
Well, that's
That should make you
fantastic.
feel good.
Yeah, exactly. I said, well, we got a lot to talk about, man. So, I'm planning to go to their rehearsals. I said, I'll come through and, check out what you're doing, try to, see if I can't, give you some information as well as some encouragement. But, so, not every student has the opportunity to do that. But here's a young man it is. So I'm like, yeah, let me get in there and, see what I can do. So,
Yeah. Well, I'd like to ask you. Well, I'm not. Don't think you're off the hook yet. What are you currently doing, John? You got any tours, recording coming up
tours are recording. Let me think here.
that people would be interested in knowing?
Well, I'm doing some dates. It's not exactly a tour with another drummer colleague that I'm sure know, Greg Holloway.
Yes.
So I've been working closely with him. He's been promoting a Roy Haynes tribute
Yeah, I saw
concert.
that. How's that turning
Yeah,
out?
it's really great. So we've had the opportunity to do 5 or 6 of those concerts. We got a couple more coming up. So we're playing at Tacoma Station. I think at the end of this month. We're doing another Mr. Henry's date. I think we have a date at Wesley Church. We did Westminster Church already, but I think we're doing Wesley as well.
Yes.
Uh, so a few things. Like I said, it's kind of a local tour. I'm saying that jokingly, but he's. Oh, we're playing in Annapolis again. I'm sorry, I do remember that. So at 49 West. So kind of hitting a number of the more known clubs in the area, but we're doing some original music, so we're going to do some things that I've written, some things that Greg's written. Everybody's contributing.
Oh,
The other
wonderful.
Yeah, the other band members are Kent Miller on bass and
I'm
Vaughn
working with
Ambrose.
Kent tomorrow night. He's a nice player, nice guy.
Really nice. Yeah, I really enjoy playing with Kent. And I was saying Vaughn Ambrose, who you may know as well, younger, great tenor player, educator as well. And so we got 3 or 4 of those concerts coming up. What else like that have I got going? I'm going to be playing Blues Alley. I've also been rehearsing and working with a vocal group that is led by Allison Crockett. I don't know if you've heard of her.
Yes, yes, I have.
Well, she's a fantastic jazz vocalist in the area. She's from here and she teaches here. I met her when I at GW. She was teaching there. We were working together there. She's moved on. I think she's at Shenandoah now. At any rate, she has a vocal group that she works with. Uh, doing her some of her arrangements and original stuff as
Yes.
well as vocal arrangements of jazz tunes. Some standards. She does like bossa stuff.
Yeah.
Tunes. Turn Out the Stars. Not Turn Out the Stars.
I
Uh,
met her last year at Westminster. Remember how he has that once a year thing out in the
oh
outside?
yeah,
I met her there.
yeah.
She was playing and she was accompanying herself and singing. Yes.
Well, she's a good piano player, so
Yes.
she keeps me on my toes when I'm accompanying.
So
She really,
she
you
hears
know, she
every
knows,
she hears everything you're doing.
exactly. She knows what she wants to hear. She's like, maybe put that voice down here. I was like, well, yeah, just don't let me slide.
No, nowhere to
Don't
hide. Nowhere to hide.
hide. Yeah, I can't hide. But so we're doing. She's doing a Blues Alley show with her group. Beginning of November, we're rehearsing for that now. And I think she's doing another concert in December, but I'm not sure the venue yet. But I know she's got a date. So a few different projects like that. As far as my own stuff, I'm just writing. I'm still writing. Like I said, I wrote a tune that we're going to be doing in Greg Holloway's project. Um, working with my students to encourage them with their writing and their playing. So I have a couple students that are doing some arranging and writing as well.
Very
So
good.
I'm coaching. But I don't have any of my own recording. I have done my own stuff in the past. I haven't got anything on tap right now. I'm just enjoying playing with. I'm lucky now to have a great network. Of course, that you're in there too. We're in there together, but that I
Yeah,
get to
yeah,
play with a lot of good people now. I just like to tell people it's so great now. It's like if I'm just getting calls now that I mostly want to take.
I hear you. I hear you.
So it's a great feeling. I know if so and so calls me, I'm gonna try to make that date because
Yeah,
they're good. We have a good rapport. It's always fun and good music. Not unlike the date we did just last weekend. Stuff like that.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
you pull in a couple people I haven't seen in a while. Karen Gray, I've known her for years, and then we were talking. Dave Mosick, the guitar player. I don't know if I've ever played with him. I know him,
yeah, yeah,
so that was just a great opportunity again to be up close, hearing him, get to interact with his style some, and I knew he was good, but I just never had a chance to play with him. So again, that was kind of a new, fresh experience. So
right.
really enjoying that.
Well, we're getting down to wind up time, but I have just a couple of more questions for you before I cut you loose and before we finish up our little conversation here. As an educator, as a professional piano player, uh, professional, what advice can you give to other up and coming musicians, writers, and arrangers?
Well, let me start with say just the pianist. I know a couple things I constantly emphasize or share with them is learn, practice, work on your listening,
Yeah.
both listening to the classics, the recordings, but also practicing and learning to listen to yourself, what you're doing, learn how to be, self-critical in a good way, but so you can get better, you know, but then also practicing listening to your other colleagues when you're playing live too.
Okay. Very good.
That's just going back. That's something I know that I think many of us take for granted, speaking for myself, but that I really had to attend to, and I had a number of teachers and mentors make that point to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not listening. You got to listen.
You gotta
And so
listen. Yeah.
I've been trying to encourage students with that. Don't take it for granted. It's it's cool. You have to learn how to. You got to practice it, just like you practice your instrument.
Yes.
So I talk about that a lot. And then specifically for the pianists, I point them towards the idea of something that I consider is particular about us, we pianists. I mean, is that we have many different roles that we can play in music. Now, drummer, percussionists do. Many instrumentals have a few different roles, but I'm like pianists though. Compared to anyone, we can be a soloist, playing just us at the instrument. We can play as an accompanist to one other person,
Right.
play in duet with that other player. We can play in a trio, but with any group of players. I mean, the standard trio, of course, is drums, bass, and piano. I mean, the standard jazz trio. But, you were mentioning Nat King Cole earlier. A lot of groups, sometimes it was piano, bass, and guitar. Well, that's a whole different sound. That's a
Mm.
whole different vibe. And then you get larger and larger groups, and you might have to play with a big band. That's a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
Accompanying singers. So that's again something I like to
That's a
share because
whole nother ball game being an accompanist. It's
I've
very
done that a
difficult.
lot in my career. So I try to share that with them too. It's a special kind of listening, and it just tends to be a special kind of support we have to give. So those are things that I encourage my students to seek out, to think about, work with. Um, Geez, as far as writing and arranging, I guess I would just fall back on something else that I point to a lot with my piano students, is just listen critically, but also work on trying to find your own voice.
Okay.
It's okay to listen to something and then say, that's not for me, I don't like it. But just have a reason. Just be thoughtful about it. Don't just throw it in the trash and just say that's crap or whatever. At least try to take it a little bit seriously, think about it, because then you're going to learn something from it, and that'll be something you can take into your own style. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. I agree.
I don't want to sound like that. I get what they're doing, but I'm more interested in doing something over here. I'm going to focus with this. So I know what they're doing, but I'm just going to sidestep that and kind of focus over here. So again, listening critically, it goes back to that, but trying to find one's own style is really what it comes down to. So in writing, arranging, playing, all of it.
Very good, John. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to throw you a fastball. I give you time to think about this one. As a well accomplished educator, pianist, jazz pianist, what is jazz to you? What does jazz mean to you? Take your time.
What does jazz mean?
I told you it's going to be a fastball.
Yeah, well, no, it's very apropos. Um, uh, well, I think the main factor for me, it goes back to something I talked about early on in our discussion. It's just it's music where improvisation is valued and encouraged. It's music where you can hear the distinctive sound of the players involved.
Okay.
So for me, that's really what I value, I guess. Those would be high on the list of definitions. So the feeling, you can get I can feel what the players are saying, but I also see, hear, feel them improvising too. And, if I hear them another night, it may sound completely different.
Right,
Or
right.
if they're playing some somewhat familiar standard or what have you, but it sounds fresh. They're making it fresh. There's something, particular, fresh. I keep coming back to that. Special that they're expressing there. And that's, to me, I guess, the core of jazz. It's that personality and improvisation.
Fantastic, man. You answered that one real well. I can tell you had to take a minute to digest it and get it back up again, but you did a great job with that one, man. And again, I thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join me here on the show, uh, Music and Life with Manny Kellough. And it's just been such a pleasure to have you here, Jon. And I hope it's not the last time. Maybe we'll get a chance to get you back again uh, when
I would
when
enjoy
time
that.
prevails. I would love to continue some more, man. I know you got some more time. I can tell in your conversation.
And I'll try to think of something funny. I can think of some awkward things, but maybe not funny. But I think I can come up with something.
Hey, I want to take a time right here to pause and thank my editing team and the producers who behind the scene, uh, Diggs Entertainment, who makes this show possible, does all the editing work, and his name is Justin Diggs, and he's also a musician, fantastic young guy coming up, and he's just a monster behind doing stuff like this. Keyboard player as well. I told him about you, and I
Okay.
just like to take my hat and acknowledge him because young cat, he's doing really good things, and that's again Justin Diggs and Diggs Entertainment and Jon Ozmet. It's just been such a pleasure being with you today, man, and until next time, my brother, I want to say let's keep the music playing and keep
Indeed.
on pushing, man. Keep swinging.
Will do. Thanks, man.
All right, man.
Good
God
to
bless you, man, and talk to you again.
take care. Thanks again.
Bye.